The roar of 50,000 voices echoes through the Colosseum as the afternoon sun casts dramatic shadows across the blood-soaked sand where Rome's greatest gladiators prepare to fight for their lives in spectacles that will determine whether they see another sunset. You find yourself watching Maximus, whose 29 years have been forged in the crucible of arena combat, his powerful frame bearing the scars of countless battles that have made him one of the most celebrated fighters in the empire. But today's contest will test more than his skill with sword and shield. It will reveal bonds that transcend the supposed hatred between natural enemies, proving that even in Rome's most brutal entertainment, unexpected connections can emerge to challenge everything spectators believe about the nature of violence and survival. The gladiator preparation chambers beneath the arena buzz with the controlled tension that precedes mortal combat, as fighters check weapons, adjust armor, and make what could be their final prayers to gods who may or may not care about the fates of slaves who kill for public entertainment. Maximus moves through his pre-battle routine with the methodical precision of someone whose survival has depended on leaving nothing to chance, every piece of equipment inspected and every muscle stretched to ensure optimal performance when death waits just beyond the arena gates. At 6 feet 3 inches and 200 pounds of muscle honed by years of training and combat, Maximus represents the pinnacle of gladiatorial development, a weapon in human form whose green eyes hold the calculating intelligence that separates champions from corpses. His dark hair is cropped short in the practical style that gives opponents nothing to grab during close combat, while the network of scars across his torso tells stories of victories won through skill, courage, and occasional luck that kept him breathing when others fell. What sets Maximus apart from other gladiators isn't just his physical capabilities, but his reputation for honor in an arena where such qualities are often seen as fatal weaknesses. He has never killed a surrendering opponent, never taken unfair advantage of wounded enemies, and never allowed crowd bloodlust to override his own moral compass. This approach has made him beloved by spectators who appreciate noble combat, but it has also created tension with arena masters who prefer fighters willing to provide maximum carnage for their entertainment investment. Today's contest promises to test these principles in ways that previous battles have not. The program calls for Maximus to face not human opponents, but wild beasts imported from the far reaches of the empire, specifically a magnificent tiger whose size and ferocity have already made him legendary among the beast handlers who prepare animals for public slaughter. The crowd expects to see either a glorious victory over nature's most perfect predator or a spectacular death that will be discussed in Roman taverns for years to come.
The tiger that emerges from the beast cages represents everything that Romans find both terrifying and magnificent about the wild creatures that inhabit the empire's distant frontiers. Ferox stands nearly 4 feet at the shoulder, his orange coat marked with black stripes that seem to shift and flow as he moves with the liquid grace that makes cats the most efficient killers in the natural world. At 4 years old, he has reached full maturity, while retaining the aggressive energy that makes him particularly dangerous to human opponents. But what makes this particular contest unusual isn't just the obvious mismatch between human warrior and apex predator. It's the strange behavior that Ferox has been displaying since his arrival at the Colosseum 3 weeks ago. Unlike other big cats who pace restlessly in their cages while snarling at anyone who approaches, Ferox has shown an almost human-like intelligence in his interactions with handlers, responding to commands with surprising cooperation, while maintaining an alertness that suggests he's constantly evaluating his environment for opportunities and threats. Brutus, the arena's most experienced animal trainer, has worked with hundreds of predators during his career, but he admits that Ferox represents something unprecedented in his experience. This tiger learns faster than most humans, he tells anyone willing to listen. He watches everything, remembers everything, and seems to understand that he's being prepared for something specific. Most animals either cower in fear or rage against their captivity, but this one seems to be waiting for something. The crowd's anticipation reaches fever pitch as Ferox enters the arena through the beast gate, his massive form moving with deceptive casualness, while those yellow eyes survey the screaming spectators with the calm assessment of a predator evaluating potential prey. The sight of such magnificent savagery, contained within the civilized architecture of Rome's greatest amphitheater, creates the kind of visceral excitement that has made gladiatorial games the empire's most popular entertainment.
The contest begins with Maximus employing the standard tactics that have kept him alive through previous beast hunts, maintaining distance while using his spear to probe for openings, looking for opportunities to deliver killing strikes while avoiding the devastating claws and teeth that make close combat with big cats essentially suicidal for even the most skilled fighters. But Ferox proves more tactically sophisticated than other predators, refusing to charge blindly into Roman steel, while instead circling with patient intelligence that suggests he's waiting for his opponent to make the first mistake. The battle that develops showcases the best of both species, human intelligence and tool use against feline speed and natural weaponry, creating a spectacle that keeps the crowd on their feet as they witness genuine combat between worthy opponents, rather than the one-sided slaughters that characterize most beast hunts. Maximus's Gladiator's work demonstrates why he has survived so many arena contests, while Ferox's agility and tactical awareness prove that he deserves his reputation as one of the most dangerous animals ever to face human opponents in the Colosseum. But the balance shifts dramatically when Maximus stumbles on the uneven sand while backing away from one of Ferox's lightning-fast attacks. The fall isn't serious under normal circumstances, but in arena combat, even momentary vulnerability can prove fatal, as the gladiator's shield flies from his grasp while his sword arm becomes trapped beneath his body weight. The crowd's roar reaches deafening levels as they anticipate the killing strike that should follow immediately, with 50,000 voices screaming for the blood that represents the climax of every successful beast hunt. Ferox approaches the fallen gladiator with the confident stride of a predator whose prey has finally made the fatal error that transforms hunter into victim.
But what happens next defies every expectation and precedent in arena history, creating a moment that will be discussed and debated throughout the empire for generations to come. Instead of delivering the killing bite that everyone expects, Ferox stops directly over Maximus's fallen form and begins exhibiting protective behavior that seems impossible for a wild predator facing a human enemy. The tiger positions himself like a guardian, his massive body shielding the gladiator from the crowd while his ears flattened against his head in a posture that animal handlers recognize as defensive rather than aggressive. When arena officials attempt to prod Ferox into completing his expected kill, the tiger snarls and swipes at their spears while maintaining his protective stance over Maximus, with determination that suggests genuine emotional investment in the fallen fighter's welfare. The crowd's bloodthirsty roar transforms into confused murmuring as spectators struggle to process what they're witnessing. This isn't the brutal conclusion they paid to see. It's something unprecedented that challenges fundamental assumptions about the relationship between humans and wild animals, civilization and nature, entertainment and genuine emotion. Maximus, still trapped beneath his own armor and struggling to understand why he's still breathing, looks up into Ferox's yellow eyes and sees something that makes his heart skip several beats. There's recognition in that feline gaze, not the impersonal assessment of predator evaluating prey, but the focused attention of intelligence acknowledging intelligence, of one individual recognizing another across the supposedly unbridgeable gap between species. "I know you," Maximus whispers, his voice barely audible above the crowd's confusion, but carrying clearly to sensitive feline ears. "You're the cub I found in Britannia. You're the little fighter who wouldn't give up no matter how badly you were hurt."
The memory that floods back transforms Maximus's understanding of both his current situation and the remarkable creature standing protectively over him. 5 years earlier, during his service as a Roman soldier in the British campaigns, he had discovered a severely injured tiger cub whose mother had been killed by hunters seeking exotic animals for the arena trade. The tiny predator had been dying from infected wounds and starvation, but something about his fierce will to survive had touched Maximus's heart in ways that military training never anticipated. Against all regulations and common sense, Maximus had spent weeks nursing the cub back to health, sharing his own rations and risking disciplinary action to care for an animal that military doctrine classified as a dangerous pest. The bond that developed between soldier and tiger transcended normal human-animal relationships, creating a connection based on mutual respect and genuine affection that neither time nor separation should have been able to destroy. When Maximus was captured during a barbarian raid and sold into gladiatorial slavery, he assumed the tiger cub would either die in the British wilderness or be killed by other soldiers who wouldn't understand their unusual relationship. The cub's survival and growth into the magnificent predator now protecting him represents a miracle that demonstrates the power of emotional bonds to transcend circumstances that should have destroyed any possibility of reunion. The crowd's reaction evolves from confusion to genuine amazement as word spreads through the stadium that they're witnessing something far more significant than a failed beast hunt. This is a reunion between companions, separated by war and slavery, a demonstration that love and loyalty can survive even the brutal realities of Imperial entertainment and the supposed enmity between natural enemies. Emperor Antoninus Pius himself, watching from the Imperial box, recognizes that this moment represents an opportunity to demonstrate Roman values of mercy and recognition for faithful service that transcends species boundaries. The decision he makes will either capitalize on the unique nature of what's occurring or destroy something beautiful for the sake of maintaining traditional entertainment expectations.
The Emperor's decision to descend from the Imperial box to the arena floor transforms what began as routine entertainment into a historic moment that will reshape how Romans think about the relationships between humans and animals, civilization and nature, entertainment and genuine emotion. As Antoninus Pius approaches the center of the arena where Ferox continues his protective vigil over the fallen gladiator, 50,000 spectators fall silent in recognition that they are witnessing something unprecedented in the history of Roman games. "Rise, gladiator," the emperor commands, his voice carrying the authority of absolute power, tempered by genuine curiosity about the extraordinary scene unfolding before him. "Tell us how a wild beast from the far reaches of our empire comes to show such loyalty to a Roman fighter. Explain this miracle that has transformed our entertainment into something approaching the sacred."
The story that Maximus tells from his position beside Ferox, the tiger still maintaining protective proximity while showing obvious comfort with his human companion's presence, reveals a tale of survival, compassion, and bonds forged under circumstances that most Romans never experience or understand. His account of finding the dying cub, nursing him back to health despite military regulations, and developing a relationship based on mutual respect rather than domination, challenges fundamental assumptions about the proper relationship between civilization and wilderness. "I called him Ferox because of his fierce spirit," Maximus explains, while gently stroking the tiger's massive head, demonstrating a level of trust that would be suicidal with any truly wild predator. Even as a cub, barely larger than a house cat, he refused to give up fighting for life. He taught me that courage isn't about size or strength. It's about the refusal to surrender when everything seems hopeless. The emperor listens with growing fascination as Maximus describes how their partnership had made him a more effective soldier, with Ferox's superior senses providing early warning of ambushes, while the tiger's presence often intimidated enemies more effectively than traditional Roman intimidation tactics. Their separation during the barbarian raid that led to Maximus's enslavement represents not just personal loss, but the breaking of a military partnership that had saved both their lives on multiple occasions. But what amazes the emperor most is the demonstration of memory and loyalty that Ferox has shown by recognizing his former companion despite years of separation and the radical changes in both their circumstances. The tiger's protective behavior suggests emotional bonds that transcend simple training or conditioning, indicating intelligence and emotional capacity that most Romans never associate with wild animals. "Your beast shows virtues that shame many citizens," Antoninus Pius observes, with the dry humor that characterizes his approach to imperial governance. "Loyalty, courage, and protective devotion to companions. If all Romans displayed such qualities, our empire would be stronger than any military force could make it."
Gaius Maximus, the arena master whose livelihood depends on providing spectacular entertainment for Roman crowds, finds himself caught between conflicting pressures that could destroy his career regardless of how he responds to this unprecedented situation. The crowd came expecting to see violent death, and their disappointment with the lack of bloodshed could translate into political problems that reach far beyond simple entertainment concerns. But the emperor's obvious fascination with the reunion between Gladiator and Tiger suggests that forcing the expected killing might violate imperial preferences in ways that could prove far more dangerous than disappointing blood-hungry spectators. The challenge lies in finding a resolution that satisfies both popular entertainment expectations and the philosophical implications of what they're witnessing. "Caesar," Gaius ventures carefully, "perhaps we could arrange demonstrations that showcase this remarkable partnership without requiring traditional combat outcomes. The crowd seems as fascinated by this display of loyalty as they would be by conventional bloodshed." The suggestion reflects growing recognition that Maximus and Ferox together represent a form of entertainment that could prove more valuable than simple death matches, offering spectacles that demonstrate Roman virtues while providing the kind of unique experiences that distinguish imperial games from routine provincial entertainments. The emperor's response reveals his understanding that this moment represents an opportunity to demonstrate Roman civilization's capacity for recognizing and rewarding virtue, regardless of its source,
while simultaneously providing entertainment that elevates rather than merely satisfies the basest human appetites for violence and death.
The demonstrations that follow over the next several days establish Maximus and Ferox as the most popular attraction in Colosseum history, drawing crowds that include not just entertainment seekers, but scholars, philosophers, and officials interested in studying the implications of their partnership for Roman understanding of animal intelligence in interspecies relationships. The performances they develop showcase abilities that neither could demonstrate alone. Maximus's strategic thinking combined with Ferox's natural predator instincts, creating displays of coordination that amaze spectators while challenging assumptions about the supposed superiority of human intelligence over animal capabilities. Their mock hunts, obstacle courses, and tactical demonstrations provide spectacular entertainment while avoiding the death that traditional arena events require. But more than entertainment value, their partnership demonstrates principles that resonate with Roman ideals of loyalty, courage, and mutual support between companions who trust each other completely. The sight of human and tiger working together as equals rather than master and servant provides powerful imagery that supports imperial messaging about unity, cooperation, and the rewards that follow faithful service to worthy causes. They fight as one, observes Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher prince whose own writings on duty and virtue find practical expression in the arena partnership that demonstrates abstract principles through concrete action. Neither dominates the other, but both contribute their unique strengths toward common goals that benefit them both. The crowds that gather to watch their performances include increasing numbers of families and young people whose enthusiasm for non-violent spectacle suggests changing popular tastes that could influence the future direction of Roman entertainment culture. Their success proves that imperial games can celebrate life and partnership as effectively as they can showcase death and domination.
The political implications of their popularity become clear when senators and wealthy citizens begin requesting private performances that showcase the partnership's unique capabilities, while allowing them to associate themselves with what has become a symbol of Roman virtue and innovation. The demand for their appearances grows beyond what arena scheduling can accommodate, creating opportunities that transcend traditional gladiatorial careers. Emperor Antoninus Pius recognizes that Maximus and Ferox represent propaganda value that extends far beyond entertainment, offering examples of Roman civilization's capacity for recognizing and rewarding merit, regardless of conventional social categories. Their story becomes part of imperial messaging about justice, mercy, and the proper relationship between power and responsibility that distinguishes Roman rule from mere tyranny. Let it be recorded that Rome honors courage and loyalty wherever they are found, the emperor declares during the ceremony that grants freedom to both Gladiator and Tiger. Today, we have witnessed proof that virtue transcends the boundaries of species, class, or circumstance. Maximus has earned liberty through exceptional service, while Ferox has demonstrated that even wild beasts can embody the highest Roman ideals. The freedom granted includes not just liberation from arena combat, but recognition as Roman citizens. In Maximus's case, restored citizenship that acknowledges his military service before enslavement, and in Ferox's case, a unique legal status that protects him from future captivity while acknowledging his role as a partner rather than property. But beyond legal recognition, they receive imperial patronage that provides comfortable retirement while keeping them available for special occasions that could benefit from their unique demonstration of partnership between human intelligence and animal instinct working toward common goals.
The villa outside Rome that becomes their retirement home
represents everything that both man and tiger had dreamed of during their years of captivity and forced entertainment. Space, security, and the freedom to live according to their own preferences rather than the demands of masters who saw them only as sources of profit or political advantage. Maximus tends gardens and livestock with skills learned during his pre-military rural childhood, while Ferox serves as both guardian and companion, his presence ensuring that no wild animals or human threats disturb their peaceful existence. Their daily routine combines human domestic activities with respect for feline needs, creating a lifestyle that accommodates both species' requirements for meaningful activity and social interaction. The regular visitors who come to see the famous partnership include not just curious citizens, but scholars studying animal behavior, military officers interested in the tactical applications of human-animal cooperation, and philosophers exploring the ethical implications of relationships that transcend traditional species boundaries. But perhaps the most significant impact of their story lies in its influence on how Romans think about entertainment, virtue, and the proper treatment of both animals and slaves whose service contributes to imperial prosperity. Their demonstration that partnership can be more effective than domination encourages experimentation with training methods that emphasize cooperation rather than simple coercion. The gladiator schools that adopt these principles find that fighters trained through mutual respect rather than fear perform better in arena contests while requiring less brutal discipline to maintain effectiveness. Similarly, animal trainers who study Ferox's behavior develop techniques that produce more reliable results with less violence, improving both human safety and animal welfare in arena entertainment. As you watch Maximus and Ferox in their comfortable retirement, the man reading scrolls while the tiger rests in afternoon sunlight that filters through trees they planted together, you understand that you've witnessed something transformative. This isn't just a story about friendship between species. It's a demonstration of how recognition of virtue can create partnerships that benefit everyone involved, while establishing examples that influence broader cultural attitudes toward power, responsibility, and respect. Their legacy continues to inspire Romans for generations, proving that the greatest spectacles aren't always those that end in death, and that the most powerful stories often celebrate the triumph of cooperation over conflict, understanding over fear, and love over the forces that would divide natural allies into artificial enemies.